Racing,
No.
having it off.
Scub goes through, and Scub!
My goodness, how does he do this?
He's just got all the toys available.
Let's be real. Esports was hyped up like it was going to take over the world. People were saying things like, it's the future of sports and it's $1 billion industry. People were throwing cash at teams like it was free, expecting every player with a jersey to become the next Michael Jordan. But now, teams are broke. Sponsorships are disappearing, and even the biggest names in the industry are barely hanging on. It's like watching a sports car drive off a cliff in slow motion. So what the hell happened? How did something with so much promise turn into a giant struggle bus? Today, we're going to break down why running an esports org is way harder than it looks, and we'll cover how we got here, the money problems, and the bubble that eventually popped. And I also have a side story for y'all that'll make you seriously question how any of these teams survive. Buckle up, because this one's definitely going to be a trip. Alright, let's rewind for a second. Esports didn't start as this massive industry with millions of viewers and corporate sponsorships. It was underground, just a bunch of kids playing Halo, Counter-Strike, and StarCraft at local LAN tournaments. What were they competing for? Well, maybe a couple $100 and some pizza. Nobody cared about fame or money, it was all about being the best. But then around the mid-2010s, things started to blow up. Twitch became a thing, and suddenly you could watch tournaments live from anywhere. Some investors noticed, and then all of a sudden, esports was getting real money. We're talking millions in sponsorships, team houses, which I made a whole video about, and production budgets that looked straight out of a reality TV show. It was truly the golden age, and for a while, it seemed like esports could do no wrong. New teams were popping up everywhere. Everyone wanted a piece of the pie. Tech companies, traditional sports investors, and even celebrities were getting in on it. But here's the thing about hype. It doesn't last forever. The reality is, running an esports org is stupid expensive. You got player salaries.
My salary on the New York Subliners in MW19 was like $245, $250.
Content production, travel, and tournament fees. It all adds up. Meanwhile, revenue streams aren't as consistent as you'd think. Prize money is great, but it's not reliable. Sponsorships can dip at really any time, and unless you're FaZe Clan or 100 Thieves at their peaks, selling enough merch to cover six-figure salaries is wishful thinking. Speaking of FaZe, when they went public in 2022, it was supposed to be a huge win for esports. A gaming org on the NASDAQ? That's just straight up insane, and we thought maybe this was going to be the turning point for esports, except it wasn't. Unfortunately, their stock tanked almost immediately, and by 2023, they were cutting staff and scrambling to stay afloat. Eventually, they had to get bought out just to survive. And they're not the only ones. TSM, one of the biggest names in esports, lost a $210 million sponsorship deal when the FTX imploded. Even the Overwatch League is pretty much dead, an event backed by some of the biggest names in gaming. Blizzard had to practically pay teams to leave. That's how bad it got. Back in 2016, there was a team called Titan. Now, if you're into CSGO, you've probably heard about them, or at least the ridiculous price of their stickers. These guys were absolute monsters in CSGO. One of the best rosters in the world. If you were playing against Titan, you basically had to throw in the towel from the start. But unfortunately, being good at CSGO doesn't pay the bills. Titan wasn't winning enough prize money to cover their costs, and their sponsorships weren't cutting it either. Roster change after roster change, and eventually one day, out of nowhere, they just shut down. No scandal, no big controversy, they were just broke. Imagine that. You're at the top of your game, competing at the highest level, and then boom, your team's gone because they couldn't afford to exist anymore. That's how insane esports has gotten at times. So, what's really causing these teams to struggle? Well, sponsorships are flaky as hell. Most teams rely heavily on sponsors to survive. The problem is, some sponsors are about as reliable as COD's anti-cheat. One bad headline or market shift and they're out. Then teams are left scrambling to find new deals. But good luck with that when the whole industry's on fire. 2. Content is a must. Winning tournaments isn't enough anymore. If you're not building a community through content, being YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, you're screwed. Teams like 100 Thieves, OpTic, and FaZe figured this out early on. They built their brand around content first and competition second. The ones who didn't, well, you probably haven't heard their name in a while. And last but not least, the bubble popped, meaning the esport boom led to a lot of unrealistic expectations. Investors wanted NBA level returns in a market that's still niche, and when those returns didn't happen, the money disappeared. Then a lot of teams were just left holding the bag. Now the big question is esports dead? Well, no. I'd say it's definitely an exaggeration to say that, but I think it's just adjusting. We're starting to see a shift towards smaller, more sustainable models. Some orgs are ditching the expensive team house setups and focusing on content. Others are scaling back entirely, only running teams in profitable games. Grassroots tournaments are making a comeback, which honestly is probably better for the scene in the long run. Esports isn't going anywhere. The hype may be gone, but the competition and passion, that's still alive, and honestly, that's what's going to keep it moving forward. If you made it to the end, you're the GOAT. Let me know in the comments, do you think esports can bounce back, or is this just how it's going to be from now on? Also, if you enjoyed this breakdown, how about you hit that like button and subscribe for more? I got a lot more things to talk about, and this is just the beginning. I'll catch you guys in the next one. This is Big Katana. Peace.